From the bottom, we out here getting it. Don't know what a limit is. Only surround yourself with people you plan to finish with. Consistency the key, unlock the door to your dreams. Prepare, plan, and execute, complete, and then repeat.
What up? Back with another episode of From the Bottom podcast. As always, it's your host, Fitz. We got Ty.
Yo.
We got Shalisha.
Good evening.
We got Tati.
Hello.
How y'all been? Let's get that out the way. How's everyone been? Anything new?
Hey, first off, y'all gonna have to add some more flavor to the intro. Hi. Good evening, people.
What up? What
This
up?
ain't the White House.
Okay, is
You
that
can't steal nobody's stuff. That's
Yeah.
plagiarism. Dang.
to do?
Well, I've been doing all right.
Tatiana's been good.
I've
Let's give it.
Yeah, I've been doing all right.
All right.
I've been doing good. Just relaxing. About to start my new job on Monday. Getting back in the flow with things. So, yeah, everything's good. What about you?
Starting to you, Fitz.
Oh, you talking about me?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking to Ty.
Nah, she would address me as such.
Got a couple other names, but
Yeah, a lot about you as well. Diabetes.
Oh, why is everyone saying that about you?
not everybody. That's not everybody. It was him and then Tati. Because
And then me.
when did you say that?
Remember, I was saying don't be taking Tati to all these places because y'all gonna get.
Bro, what? I'm trying to tell you, bro.
No places, okay? Me and
I'm
Tati
not
went to the
saying you
grocery
did.
store.
I was saying
She posted that thing on Snapchat, bro. Crazy. Barely.
Do you feel like I'm giving you diabetes?
I mean, I have control, you know, and I know
There we go.
for myself. I
There we
don't.
go.
Okay,
I'm
so
not
Shalisha don't got control.
I'm not saying nobody.
Anyways, I'm doing great.
Control of my
Life is
diet.
good.
I like it to eat.
I'm not
good.
saying-
breaks.
I don't feel like I should not.
Sensational.
I'm talking
grateful. I'm good, bro. We good.
That's
Everything
good.
going the way it need to go.
That's great.
about. That's good.
No diabetes, no
Feel me?
obesity.
Yeah. No heart disease.
I'm not obese.
No
I'm
no
not
withdrawal.
Obese.
saying- You just said obesity.
I'm saying he don't
No
have
diabetes.
obesity. He said he was good, and I'm saying
Her
he.
head, hey, her head got obese. Times way.
Mm.
We can move on though.
So you good,
Life is good, bro.
healthy,
Yeah.
healthy, strong man. That's good.
There you go.
That's real.
You see how she didn't say it with her chest?
Ooh.
The doctor said I don't got no problems. That's all I'm saying.
The doctor's not a nutritionist.
I've
Say
been
what-
good. I've been chill.
That's good.
I just been working on this coaching business, learning a lot. Which reminds me, if you have not liked the podcast, make sure you like the podcast, share, subscribe, all that great stuff. I've been good. Just, living life, getting ready for all the changes that are gonna come business-wise, personal-wise.
What changes?
Oh, what changes?
Just life changes.
I
Things
don't
happen.
know.
What changes? Be specific. Get
This
personal
specific
here.
change I've been working on for about 7-8 months,
27 years.
right? 27 years, just everything leading up now. And
Leading to what?
I just been planting seeds and they
What
growing.
seeds?
Just seeds, businesses,
Oh, I
ideas,
thought you said
mindsets.
personal.
Yeah, personal mindsets.
Okay.
My personal mindsets,
All the
just
seeds you've been planting.
none that I could think of.
Oh,
None that I could think of.
none for like 7 to 8 months.
Those
Nine.
ones done been harvested. They done sprouted. They're good.
Okay.
No other seeds in my life that I'm aware of.
Is something happening?
Yes. Nothing is happening.
Oh,
Nothing's happening. Nothing is happening but some positivity.
There you
Let's
go.
go. Nothing is happening.
And new blessings.
yeah, just always looking at life from the positive side and
Or curse.
yeah, or the curse side.
No, that's not positive.
Trying to think of something that we could just a little icebreaker, something fun we could talk about before we get into
Petty or
this topic.
past? It's been a minute.
It's been
What
a
you
minute.
got?
Well, the petty and pass I kind of stopped doing because
Always being petty.
nah, it's just like they be getting serious sometimes and it's all in fun. So I don't want to be petty or bring up negativity, just positivity. So I've been staying away from the petty or pass. Let me see. Trying to think of, so nobody has any interesting thing that happened to them this week. Nothing funny, nothing sad, entertaining.
Wish me luck on my.
I got a story.
Oh,
Wish you
Okay.
luck.
oh, my mortgage loan origination exam is tomorrow, so just wish me luck.
Good luck.
I will not wish
But
you
I know I
luck.
don't need the luck
Yep.
and all of that. You know,
You see,
I'm
she just stole
confident,
that.
but what? No,
I was about to say you don't need luck because you got this.
No,
But you took the words right out my mouth. You stole them.
Go ahead.
I don't know what else to tell people. Hey, I got this, but just letting you know. I mean, I could say that.
Stunt on them.
I mean,
Stunt on
try to
them.
be humble, you know.
Nah, stunt on them.
Oh Lord,
Show up with some sunglasses and wear them indoors if you have to.
they wouldn't fit. They don't really go over my regular glasses. Well, I tried that.
Wear
It wasn't
contacts.
comfortable. Well, I don't want to wear contacts. I like glasses. I don't want to be poking my eye with my fingers. I think that's weird
Mm.
and hazardous.
You hear
For a
that?
number of reasons. And
All
we might
of
as well
our
just get-
viewers.
we might as well just get LASIK at that point. You know, we
Oh,
ain't
God.
about to
She's
do
calling
something
you
else.
all out. All our viewers that wear contacts, she's saying you weird.
Nah,
Let's
I ain't
go.
saying for me personally,
Mm.
that's not something I want to do. I don't want to be sticking my fingers in my eye. What happens if my eyes are dirty? Or my hands, sorry, not my hands, my hands. Not my eyes, my hands. What if my hands are dirty and there's something in between my contacts?
You wash them first.
and my-
It says
But
that.
what if I don't have access to hand washing things or hand sanitizer? And now I'm trying to get this contact out because there's a grain of sand in between a contact in my eye and it's scratching up my eye. And now it's either give myself pink eye or get scratches on my eye.
Well, millions of people got these contacts and
I know they do.
they living good.
I'm sure they are. I'm good
But
with
but
glasses.
it's not for
though.
you. It's not for you.
No,
you,
it's not.
You okay with the
What you saying is
glasses?
I'll just jump to LASIK when the time comes.
All right. I'll be looking forward to it.
Oh Lord.
I'll be looking forward to it. But what's that story you got, Ty? We know you gonna come with the flame. What you got for us?
I ain't come with the flame this time. So there's a situation. So where
Mm.
I live at, we have a yard outside, but it's not fenced in on the side that's the public sidewalk. So my dogs, I have e-collars for them, which is a vibration system for them to run freely, but for me to be able to call them back. So a couple days ago, I was leaving.
Is it like the zap?
No,
Okay.
it's a light vibration. Like, hey, come here.
Like you wear it?
Huh?
You'd wear it?
Yeah, I've put it on my arm,
Okay.
turned it up all the way, all that
Okay.
stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't put it on them if it was gonna hurt.
Okay.
Me and my mom were going out to go grab a bite, and I took them out without their e-collars on. And usually, we have people walk by all the time. Not a lot of people, but some people, and they might greet them just to kind of see, like, who are you? Am I able to be out here freely without having to be on guard? You know what I mean? So this lady is walking probably maybe 20, 30 feet from us. And they see her and they run up on her. They didn't like jump on her or anything, but she bends down to pet him. And then next thing you know, she's on the ground. I'm like, what the heck? So I'm running over there. I grab them, put them in the house, and I pick her up. I'm like, you all right? Like, because I didn't see them jump, because they don't jump on anybody unless they know you. They're very weary of other people because they came from the shelter. So if you're not in the immediate circle, they would not mess with you. Even when we go to the dog park, they do not let nobody touch them. Like, they're very weird about it. So this lady ends up trying to finesse me for money. And she basically tried to make it out like my dogs push her down. So this Hispanic family pulls up, it's a mother and daughter. And before I could even get a first aid kit, talk to her, anything, call the police immediately. Immediately. So the police show up, talking to the police. He talked to her, asked her what happened. He talked to me. He said the Hispanic family on the way because they were like, well, we were witnesses. Do we not need to be here? And the cop was like, no, he told the truth. I mean, I ain't lie about it. You know, I didn't see what all happened, but I have an idea what happened. So once they left, he talked to me and I was like, she bent down to pet him, bro. Like, she shouldn't have been down to pet him because then I think she lost her balance because she didn't fall forward. She fell backwards. That makes sense. And then she had like half a penny size little scrape on her elbow. So it was evident that she had fell on her own. Because if my dogs were running super fast and they jumped on her, she would have busted her head wide open for sure. 100%. Cracked everything. So we stand there for about half an hour. They're getting her together. He was like, well, do you want to go to the hospital? You know, he's trying to figure out what's going on. And, you know, she is basically like trying to get me to pay for it. She's like, I'll only go if they'll pay for it. And then she didn't want to go to the hospital. She didn't want to get nothing at first. And something was wrong with her knee, maybe. I don't know if it was from the dogs, but she was really like playing this role really hard, bro. I couldn't believe it. Like, I literally couldn't believe it. I helped her up. I was like, you want to sit in my truck? You know, I got a first aid kit. Didn't want nothing from me. How about this lady, bro? Literally had the EMT come out to put a bandage on her elbow. A bandage, bro. Literally. Something I had in my little first aid kit, a bandage. So I got the EMT, the fire trucks coming and stuff, just for 5 seconds to put a bandage on her and check her knee. And that was it. And then she went home. And then I got a citation.
You don't owe her no money?
No, because so in order for somebody to have to pay something like that, because he told her, he's like, if you want to go outside of that, she has to go through a civil court. She can't go to the police because that's not a police matter. She wasn't bit. She wasn't. It was he said versus she said type of thing. But once you forfeit, like going to the hospital and stuff, they're not the other party's not responsible for anything because you didn't go right there and then. So ain't no telling what happened from the event to now. Let's say she waited 6 months and was like, "Oh, my knee," and then she tried blaming it on me. She waited 6 months too long because then it's like, okay, if you had a pre-existing injury, you made it worse by not going. So she was good. I guess she was good to go. I seen her the next day though, and this is the funny part. Driving an Audi, and she pulled up into Chick-fil-A, and I was like, bro, I think that's her. So I creeped by and I'm like, yeah, that's her, bro. I was 98% sure that was her. I'm like, bro, you literally milked this whole entire situation to get paid for some type of reason. And the crazy thing, bro, is I didn't snap on her. I didn't cuss her out, cuss out the other family, you know, get into it with the police, none of that stuff. And my thing, I was genuinely worried about her. I'm like, what, you know, I'll take responsibility for it because they should have been they should have been better about recall, and that's my accountability because they're my dogs. But bro, my dog had them come out here for 2 seconds to put a bandage on her arm, bro. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
And
at
you
this
did
point,
get a citation?
yeah, because they have local ordinance here that say you can't have your dog on the leash or off leash, even though this is technically my residential home. But I didn't fight with them. It's not a big deal. It's nothing that's gonna like handicap me. I hope not. I mean, she admitted to bending down. She didn't tell him after the fact, after I had said that though. She didn't say, oh yeah. She was like, yeah, I bent down to pet him. I'm like, well, should have kept it moving. Well, you shouldn't have been down to pet him because then you fell. And then the other family just came out of nowhere, and then they just escalated it. So for me, seeing all the people interaction with the police, I try to keep it cordial. They showed a lot of respect. I didn't have no problems. Almost had a problem because they hopped out like the EMT said she hopped out and was like, who got bit? I'm like, got bit? What you mean? So I called the other police officer because they put up two people. I'm like, yo, ain't nobody get bit. What you talking about? Like, what's going on? Because we finna have a problem now. And he was like, oh no, they're good. And then he went over and told him. I'm like, bro, she fell and scraped her little baby arm.
And did you have to pay for the EMTs? I know in some
Oh.
states they make you pay out of pocket for them, and they don't.
That's
they
on her.
charge- Oh, okay.
What they gonna charge me? $20 for a Band-Aid?
No, the actual EMT to come out,
She
they
did-
charge
she did.
hundreds or thousands of dollars just
That'd be on her.
for calling the ambulance.
That's crazy.
That
So
would
what
be on
did you
her.
learn from all that? If anything.
Just because somebody may look like you doesn't mean they for you.
Oh, it was a
And
black lady too?
also watch out for those negative people who trying to get on the come up. Nah, it was a brown family, but my initial reaction was like
They're gonna
a
have
mutual
your back.
respect. Not even that, a mutual respect. And it was immediate to uplift the white lady, in my opinion. So
Oh, the lady that the dogs that who bent down to pet the dog was a white lady.
oh
And
yeah.
then the brown people,
Yeah.
the Latinos pulled up
Yeah.
and they was on the side of the white lady.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hey.
Okay.
Where's Dr. Umar when you need him?
Hey, I kept my cool. So we got it all handled and everything gonna be straight. So
Listen, if you watching, drop a comment. Let us know what you think. Should Ty pay for the ambulance or should she pay for it? Let us know.
No, I mean,
she gonna have to pay for it.
You better take that, Bill.
She gonna have to
I
pay for
thought you
that.
would have said something.
Our insurance is gonna get billed because they didn't take none of my information down. The officer had my information for the citation, but that was it.
Well, that's good. Nothing bad happened. I know sometimes the cops pull up and they shoot the dogs down or something or
I would
some
have been on the
crazy
news
stuff.
then.
You would have been on the news?
Oh, 100%.
Why you would have been on the news?
It would have been like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas out here. All I'm gonna say is, boy, we put in work. We from 64th and from 65th. We not from 63rd.
This guy. That's how it's done. That's how it's done. Well, that's cool.
where's
Glad
Fred
every
Hampton Jr., man. Where's Fred Hampton Jr.? I know this one of the minor situations. Probably don't need to come out for all that, but it's crazy.
It was good. I mean, they was respectable. It wasn't nothing to it. You know, they wasn't disrespectful by any means, so we were straight.
glad everything worked out. You were able to get your dogs home and help an old lady. So,
Tried to.
you know, tried to help.
She might as well just spit in my face at that point.
I wouldn't
Would've felt
blame
a little
her, brother.
bit
I wouldn't blame
Would have felt a little bit better.
her.
Dang.
As she should have.
Hey, accountability on both parts.
Hey. Well, let's get into this topic. All right.
I'm ready.
Because this is one that I think people are gonna really appreciate. So I'll start it off with a little story. I'll lead into it. So upon reflecting, once I was thinking about this topic, I thought back to my younger days, right? I thought back to my younger days, and I used to be the type of person where I reacted to everything. And when I was younger, I thought that, you know, it was because I was prideful or, you know, that was just my personality. You know, like if somebody was saying something about me, I always felt the need to like take it to the next level, try to fight, stuff like that. And when I reflected on why I did that, I realized like, it's not that I like fighting, but I feel like there was an insecurity there. Like I wasn't cool with myself enough to just let them think what they wanted to think about me or feel how they wanted to feel about me. There was an insecurity there. I feel like, well, it was like, how could somebody think that about me or feel that about me or say that about me? So I took it personally. And that's kind of what I was thinking about when I was reflecting, like, why did I get so mad when someone would just say something? Like, it wasn't that I believed it, but I think a small part of me believed it. enough to where it made me react. So I wanted to kind of open it up to you guys and ask, you know, like, how do you guys think that insecurities hold people back in life? If you think they do. Who want to go? I just shared my story. Who want to go?
So the question is if insecurities hold you back in life.
How do you think they hold you back? Or not you, but it could be you, but just in general, how do you think they could hold you back, or they hold other people back? Do you understand the question?
No.
How do you feel like insecurities hold people back in life?
Do they?
That's what I'm asking.
I feel
do you
like
think
in
they
some
do?
certain situations they can.
Like what?
They can hold. Let me get to it.
Don't get hyped up yet. Calm down.
So in some certain situations, I feel like they can. I feel like it can, if you're insecure about something and somebody's come in to tell you like a piece of advice, then you're not going to be open to taking that piece of advice. I feel like not depending on what you do. I was going to say depending on what you do, but I feel like you got to have confidence within yourself and your goals and your decision making. And with insecurities, you know, you can't really have the confidence that you should or that you need to. But mainly I would just say it could hinder your growth, because if you're insecure to something, you may not be as perceptive to want to change it or to even acknowledge it. And in personal growth and development, that's a big factor.
So pretty much insecurities could hinder your growth because you may not have the confidence to hear what they're trying to tell you.
Yeah, or you just may not want to because you know, it's something you're not accepting of. If you're not accepting of your insecurities, then you're not going to see them as an issue or a problem. So then how are you going to be able to change that problem or issue if you can't even acknowledge that?
I have a question. I got a story, I guess.
Okay.
I have a friend who is insecure about leading.
Meeting you?
Leading.
Oh.
That's what?
Insecure about leading?
Okay.
To me, I can't put him on the podcast like that. But you know, they're insecure about leading. To me.
Why? Okay.
And I tried to explain it to them, but they were having a hard time listening. What should I do from your point of view, Shabby?
Well, first, I would say, is that opinion based or is that factual based? Also, I would try to, you know, think about how you approached the topic at hand that you were trying to discuss, because, you know, you love to say it's not your responsibility about how somebody perceives things, but, you know, we got to take a little bit of accountability, like you also like to harp on, of how you're putting it out there. You know, there's a timing in place for everything, tone, atmosphere, the whole nine. So you can't really expect somebody to be perceptive if you're not coming from a positive place or displaying positivity either. So I would just work on the delivery, maybe, you know, answer questions if they have questions. Yep.
What if they're too emotional?
Is that your personal opinion or?
It's a factual thing. I mean, I got witnesses to it.
Oh, well, I mean, I would love to hear what the witnesses would have to say, but I don't really.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Some would even say they compared to my other friend, who was a little bit bitter.
Who's
But
what?
I'll say that. I'll save that story for another day.
Wait, what?
My other friend who was bitter.
Who's bitter?
Yeah, he was bitter and emotional as well.
He talking about.
I was just wondering. We're not gonna say no names, but I was just wondering.
He in his petty right now. Look at this.
But yeah, insecurities, man, they hold you back. They destroy you, I think. because people don't ever address them and they just let them linger and sit there. And then when they're confronted about them, then they get upset. So most definitely they take over your life, take over relationships, job opportunities, everything. I mean, it don't make no sense. And then for the people who aren't secure or who are insecure about themselves or who got it a little bit more mastered, it's hard to be around those people that aren't, because then they try to put things on you that don't fit to you. You know what I mean? So you gotta deal with them, man. It's like my two friends, you know what I mean?
So do you, oh, go ahead, Tati.
So just something to say on the topic. Upon further thought, really pondering the question, I can't say where insecurities got their origin. Who was that first person that felt little or felt small within themselves and then decided to start spreading that to other people? But I definitely think it's a contagion. It's a disease, insecurity. That's the way I see it, because I don't think anyone comes out born insecure. I think we all start out as children and we are just ourselves and we're not thinking about other people's perceptions of ourselves. And then other people come along who are maybe concerned with their self-perception and then impose that on other people around them. And, it's like any other disease. Some people catch the disease and some people have a better immune system and they're immune and they don't pick it up. And, I can't say the origin of this particular contagion, but it's a terrible disease and it's sad to watch it spread, because I can't tell you how many people have come along in my life and said something about me, oh, you this, you that. And it's just like, man, mind your own business. I live my life and I'm perfectly content with the way I am. And why you got something to say about me and the way I do things and how I carry myself? I'm just fine. I'm just fine. So why are you coming over here trying to get in my head, to get me in my own head and be all conscious about how I look to other people? Like, I'm go about my daily business. I'm over here getting the discount at Big Lots. I'm fine.
There you go.
I'm over here. I'm fine. You're not getting the discount. I get the discount. I'm doing good. So it's like, I don't know, man. It just, people spread this stuff and it just starts with one and spreads to so many, and some people don't pick it up and some people do. And it's just, you just got to try and build up an immunity to other people's feelings and perceptions of you, because ultimately them speaking up about you is, for every finger that they point at you, four more are pointing back. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, they really point the finger at themselves. It's something about them that they feel uncomfortable with, but they feel like they got to come up to you and try to make you feel uncomfortable with them. Something funky like that.
And that's a lot to unpack. And one thing that stood out to me was your analysis of relating insecurity to disease. And
I just want to say something. I do not endorse Big Lots, and I'm not a billionaire, and I'm not trying to say nothing. And I get the coupons. I signed up for the Big Lots thing with the coupons, and it's just really nice. And what is that? And what is that? And I don't endorse anybody or any one particular store. I think that's a great store. If you don't shop at Big Lots and you got one in your area, you really should check them out more.
Amazing, girl.
They have a great selection of snacks, cookware at discount rates, and they're fantastic. And if you're not shopping at Big Lots, you are missing out. You're missing out.
We'll get some snacks.
Great deals over there. But
Yeah,
I'm not endorsing them.
we got that. All right. So I think your analysis was good about relating insecurity to disease. I did have something that, like, I don't say a disagreement, but more of a
Challenge.
Just my understanding of insecurity is not an inquiry, but just studying psychology and how the human mind works. My understanding of insecurity is that everyone has insecurities but some people don't allow them to control them to a larger degree, if you will. Like some people work through their insecurities, and some people live with their insecurities and they don't really do anything about them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you were saying like some people built up an immunity to them and then didn't have them. I would say that people do build up an immunity to their insecurities, but it doesn't eliminate them. Like it's still, you know, like you still may get it, but it's going to affect you to a lesser degree because your immune system can go. Like you reflecting on your life and making goals and challenging yourself, that is your immune system when it comes to your insecurities. But a weak immune system in this analogy would be is if your insecurities or thoughts were creeping into your mind and you didn't have a way to come and bring awareness to those ideas or thoughts or situations, and you just let them control you. And now you sitting up in the hospital getting chemo in this example, like related to insecurities. Does that make sense?
The chemo part kind of throws
To
me
an
off
extent. To an extent.
because chemo treats cancer, and chemo actually weakens your immune system. And I would just say like take some vitamins or something. I don't know. I wouldn't get
Some
chemo.
Flintstone vitamins.
Are we not giving medical advice?
Yeah, no, I'm not.
I get what you're saying about people like not letting your insecurities control you or really acting on them, because you can have them and not really act on them or let them take a hold of you and affect your everyday life.
Interesting.
Well, I did want to ask you guys a question going back to something that Ty was talking about earlier about his example.
Okay.
And his perception, based on my understanding, is that there was an insecurity because this person did not, I guess, lead in the way that he would lead. Do you guys think that there can be an insecurity when we want others to do things that we may want them to do, but we're not necessarily doing? Or like, where would that come from? Like in your example, where you were talking about you saw insecurity in them. How would you recognize that insecurity if you haven't recognized it in yourself first?
I wouldn't really classify that as an insecurity.
Yeah, I was just disappointed from the respect aspect. At the end of the day, I could have stomped all three of them if I wanted to. If we're being honest, I could have acted, like Queen Latifah and set it off if I wanted to.
Your question confuses me.
But it's not a question. I don't think it was an insecurity though. I think it's just more of a respect thing. Like maybe on their part, maybe they've dealt with their quote unquote kind, and they think they have this perception of people who have similar features to them, and they might think that they're bad. I don't know.
No, okay, I think we talking about different examples.
I'm so
The example
I was talking about the example where you talking about leadership.
Oh, my friends.
Yeah, you said
oh.
earlier that there
Okay.
was an insecurity in this person because
Right.
they were not leading in a certain way. And
Gotcha.
I'm asking,
Gotcha.
in order to recognize that insecurity, wouldn't you have to have gone through that insecurity at some point in the past?
That's the question.
Yeah. Like, how do you recognize an insecurity in someone else if you don't know what that is like? Is that possible?
Or you could just be mistaken on
Yeah.
what you're thinking the insecurity is.
I mean, could you be pointing something out to somebody that they never thought to be insecure about to begin with, but because you're bringing it up and now you're saying, oh, this looks like this XYZ on the surface, outside, whatever, now you're taking your own thoughts and feelings and imposing on someone else who did not share those same thoughts and feelings before you opened your mouth. And now you're in what I'm saying, you're opening your mouth and then pointing something out to them and potentially making them insecure about something that they didn't need to be insecure about, because you're bringing it to their attention and saying you look like this when you do this.
I just feel like on a specific topic bad hand.
Are we operating from principle or feelings? I just need to know how to respond.
Principle, because
Okay.
you can't say that somebody has an insecurity if you truly don't know what you deem for yourself. And as far as you would like to put into your little toolbox of your leadership toolbox, whatever you want to call it, is just that, what you deem for yourself. But just because you deem something for yourself does not necessarily mean it fits to the other person. It could just be a case of simply them wanting to do something or not wanting to do something. But because they don't want to do something doesn't mean that they lack the ability to do it or anything like that, or that it's an insecurity. It just may not be something they want to do as far as their toolbox for leadership. It just may not fit into that toolbox for them. And I feel like that's okay, because everybody's different. Everybody has different viewpoints. Everybody has different perspectives on life and what they choose to put in their toolbox. So just because it's in your toolbox, but not in somebody else's, I don't necessarily feel like that is a valid statement.
You going in? I like that. I wouldn't say it's an insecurity either way, though. I was more of asking Shalisha a question if it was an insecurity, because it always falls on that person to decide if it's an insecurity or not. If I happen to bring it up, it's more of an area that needs growth. I wouldn't say it's an insecurity. That's Shalisha right. Everybody's different. Everybody operates off a different vibration, I guess you can say. But I have to disagree on some things. When you get into a room full of dogs, right? Let's say there's pit bulls, German shepherds, some of the most vicious dogs. You can't walk in there and be a chihuahua. You're gonna get trampled over. You might even get picked up like a toy. You might even get your head tore off. You know what I mean? So,
but
it's
every
more
situation is different. I feel like
we're not talking about a situation. I'm talking about this specific. This is what I'm talking about. Let me finish. Always interrupted. Insecurity right there. Hard of hearing. But you can't be a chihuahua surrounded by pit bulls and Rottweilers and stuff like that. You're gonna have to learn. You're gonna have to turn into something much bigger than that. What else did you say? You said something else that I had to disagree with. The more of the You said that people sometimes don't want to do something, doesn't mean they can't do it. How do you know you can do it if you haven't done it? You can't just walk out there. You can't just go to
done it in different
hold
scenarios.
on. Let me ask a question. It's actually pronounced scenario, but we'll get to that another day. You can't just walk into you can't just walk into Jiffy Lube and put on a vest and start working on cars. You can't just you may do it on your own. You may know how to do it yourself, but you can't just walk out there and do their job. It's the same thing with leadership or any other characteristics. How do you know you can do it if you haven't tried it?
But how do you know the person has done it or hasn't tried it if you're only basing it off of one encounter?
I'm not basing it off. What are you talking about? You getting personal now. I'm not basing it off one encounter. Hyped up. I asked you a question. If it was an insecurity and you answered.
I thought I answered okay.
So let me rephrase it, and then we'll move on a little bit.
Wait, which question are we addressing here? Because it sounds like there's multiple questions.
Well, they were just having a back and forth dialogue. I think it kind of like they were answering a question of, is one person's perception of insecurity, is that because they've been through that insecurity, or is that something else? Like, pretty much, can they name that insecurity without
I've never been through
experiencing it? That was the question, and they were kind of having a dialogue. But I just wanted to add, and maybe we could get Tatiana's input on this.
What?
As I'm just saying, we can get your input on it if you want.
Oh no, I didn't know. Should I put it now on the question?
No, I'm about to ask the question.
Oh, there's a different question.
Yes, I'm saying I'm about to ask a
God.
question, but you keep saying stuff in the background, and it's hard for me to keep my train of thought. It's like
Okay.
It's weird. Okay, so here's the question. For the third time, I'm gonna try to ask the question. When we're talking about insecurities, And Shalisha was talking about, you know, giving advice earlier. How do we draw the line between giving advice and pushing our personal agenda on people? Right? Because you were talking about leadership, saying like a Chihuahua can't go into a room with pit bulls and stuff like that. But what if that's your perception of leadership? Like, what if there is a Chihuahua that can go into a room full of pit bulls and you know, and be a leader? Like, I've seen some videos where then pit bulls be walking up on the Chihuahua and the Chihuahua start, "Ah!" and then pit bulls run and take off, you know? So how do we know that?
That's a way to build the confidence, though. Just like Shalisha had said earlier, and I had to disagree with it because she's like, well, what you don't know that people can't do it. Just because they haven't showed you doesn't mean they can't do it. So I may have seen the Chihuahua and I'm thinking, you know, he ain't gonna do nothing, and then it starts getting crazy. Then I'm gonna support that and, you know, go the other way. Just trying to bring it out of the people, you know.
So how do we know whether we're pushing our agenda on somebody or giving them advice? Like, where do we draw the line at?
I think oh wait, I'm sorry. Who's someone?
No, you're good.
Oh, I think it's about how you say what you say. And I think that's how you distinguish between giving advice and putting your own agenda or your personal, like, this is how I would do it, so you should do it type of thing. I think it's just about how you say it. So as I'm thinking about the question, I'm thinking, okay, if I saw somebody doing something and I want to let them know something about their behavior, but at the same time not make them feel insecure or feel like they're doing something wrong necessarily, but let them know about how it may make people around them feel. It's about articulating that without putting it on them. So I'm thinking, okay, and tell me what you think about this. Trying to think of an example, you know.
Clarify the last part. Without putting it on them. Because the question that goes in my head is, regardless, so, and we talked about this on previous podcasts. If I bring something to you and you have an insecure mindset, or you haven't looked in the mirror yet, you know, and you're ignoring this, and I happen to touch that spot and all this aggression comes out because you know it's there, you're just ignoring it, right? So and this is the difficulties I deal with people on a daily. How even if I choose my words carefully, or, you know, whatever language I might use, it's still gonna come across negatively because of their mindset. Okay. So if I address it to you, like, how can I do that without putting it on them? Because at the end of the day, that's on them. I can say it in the nicest way, and then they're like, "Oh, so you just think I'm a," you know what I mean? Like,
tell me if this example makes sense. Say we're in India. Say we're in India, and all four of us go on an all expenses paid trip to New Delhi. Okay, we chilling in New Delhi, and we're in a cafe downtown, and for whatever reason, Robert starts talking about eating cows, which, you know, for most of the population of India, to my knowledge, you know, that's like, there's a strong religious tie between cows and Hinduism, I believe, and cows are seen as like this sacred animal. You don't want to kill them. They let them walk in the streets, all type of stuff. In America, you know, it's customary for us to consume beef on a regular basis. We're one of the biggest consumers of beef. And so say we go to India, and, you know, maybe you're not aware of that cultural difference. And so we're sitting in this cafe, and you're talking real loud, people can hear you, and you're talking about, say you have a dairy farm or whatever, cattle farm, and you got a bunch of cows, and you talk about how you just killed 3 cows last week and made XYZ amount of money, and how good the meat tasted and it was all fresh, and you're going on and on about killing cows, eating cows, defiling cows in the eyes of these other people.
Mhm.
Now, I don't want you to feel insecure about talking about what you do, because this is, you got your cattle ranch and this is how you make your livelihood. But we are in a place where the people around us may feel uncomfortable about, you talking about killing the cows, because they love cows. It's like, oh my goodness, the cows, why are you doing that to the cow? So I want to try and let you know about the people around us and how what you're saying might be affecting the way they feel. But at the same time, I don't want you to feel like you can't do what you do, or this can't be your livelihood. Everyone on planet Earth don't have to be doing the same thing. We all live differently and we have different standards and cultures. But in this setting, it might be not as appropriate to go on and on about killing cows and how much blood came out their head when you shot them upside the head with the double barrel, and you sawed it off and everything. It had all kinds of power to it. I don't know, I'm just saying this is what you're out here doing with the cattle ranch. And so for the purpose of the example, it's very graphic. And so what I'm saying is like, okay, can we, how do I, and so I don't know exactly how I would say it in this moment. But I'm just saying, like, is like that's a type of situation where I'm thinking, okay, I don't want you to be insecure about being a cattle farmer and you're in India with all these people who idolize cows. Don't be insecure, but just recognize that the people around you may feel, some type of way about, what the cows, what you're doing to them. So don't be insecure. How do I let you know? I can't tell you exactly how to say that, but just that's what I mean when I say conveying something to you without.
Well, I think the example that you're giving, I wouldn't even consider that an insecurity. I would just consider that being aware of someone else's culture. Like if if they just didn't know that cows are holy there, I don't think that they would then go back home and say, oh, I feel insecure about the cow. I think it would just be like, if I went to a vegan restaurant, I'm not going to change my whole diet because they're vegan here. And someone tells me, and I go in there and say, could I get a hamburger? And they say, this is a vegan restaurant, we don't have hamburgers. I'm not then going to feel like, oh, I'm this horrible person because I eat meat or anything like that. I just feel like with the example with the cow thing in India, that's just more so they think differently. But if you're telling them, maybe the conversation isn't about them being a cattle farmer, but it's just, hey, just so you know, they look at cows as holy. So if you don't want any issues while we're here, then it would be better not to speak about it. Not saying anything about you, but just they're going to look at it this way. That's not, I don't feel like that's someone's insecurity or anything about them. That's telling them, like, this could be a dangerous situation because of this, but that's not like you're this bad person because of this and you shouldn't do this. That's just saying they believe that here, just like people that smoke weed. It's like if I say don't do it in front of the cops, I'm not telling you you're a horrible person. I'm saying I don't want you to go to jail.
Right. So you're articulating that in the proper way. That's what I'm trying to get at. You're saying it in a way to where you're not attacking the individual and what they're doing. You're letting them know about their surroundings and how it can be perceived, but at the same time, letting them know that you're okay and what you're doing is not necessarily bad. It's just in this time and place. That's the thing. And that's what I'm saying with the articulation. It's just about saying it in the right way. Like if I went up to that person smoking the cannabis and saying, you're this nasty, dirty,
if you did say that and then they felt bad about themselves, that would be their problem, I think.
But that's what
Right.
I'm saying. But I'm somebody coming in with my own perception of what they're doing and then taking this opportunity to then impose my insecurities about cannabis onto them. And that's what I'm saying with the immune system. You know, if your immune system's built up for this, for insecurities of others, then they're going to come in right with their insecurity about cannabis and they're going to say what they say. And sure, you might think, well, okay, duh, don't do it in front of the cops, but you ain't got to say all that about me either. And then you're going to just brush it off. But someone who is maybe like their immune system's not built up, like we were saying,
They're sensitive.
and they're sensitive about it already. And then you come along and say, hey, don't do it in front of the cops. But you know, at the same time, you shouldn't be doing it anyway. You dirty, da, da, da,
Then
da,
don't
da.
hang out
And
with
then-
them. I would say don't hang out with them.
Don't have, don't,
Someone else's
yes, don't allow
perception
negative.
does not define. who
Don't
you
allow
are.
don't allow negativity into your. Do you hear me? I'm just saying.
That's
you
what I'm
know,
saying. Don't hang out with
articulating
them.
It's
If
just
you're
about
that
the way it's
sensitive.
articulated, yo,
Right.
no.
If
that's
you
what-
know, if you
yes.
know that you're sensitive
not-
to
I
what
think
people
that
will
she's
say,
saying-
then don't hang out with them.
I'm just trying to hone
I
in
think
and
that
focus
she's-
on
what she's
articulating
saying is-
things in a way to where you can say something to somebody without not even trying, but without addressing their action directly and saying they're wrong for the action, and just addressing it in a way to where you're trying to let them know that it's occurring in this.
But what if you do think
doing
they're
this-
wrong? What if I think
Right.
you're wrong about something? I should be able to tell you. And if you think you're right, you should be able to keep doing what you're doing.
Exactly.
If I tell you you're doing something wrong and you have an insecurity about that, then on some level, you must also feel that you are doing something wrong.
So are we?
And that's-
so I just want to make sure, are we transitioning into a new question now? Because I just wanted to address the previous.
No,
that's just
you were-
clarification.
That was just clarification
So-
because you were talking about if somebody said something to a cattle farmer about them doing the meat thing, and I'm just saying like that's a different thing because that's danger. But if you were just telling somebody your opinion about what they're doing, and then they have an insecurity about it, then how much did they really believe in what they were doing in the first place? But I'll let Shalisha.
Wait, can you ask your original question again, just so I have clarity?
I think the original question was about other people's perception of your insecurity. Like, how are other people's perception of the insecurity affecting you? I don't really remember the exact words. You and Tyree kind of had started a conversation, but I know Shalisha wants to say something, so I'm not
Okay.
trying to interrupt her.
No, you're good.
Oh, I was just saying, as far as what Tatiana was saying, I kind of get what she's saying. She's just saying, like, try to be more mindful of how you say it. But like you were saying, if that's truly what somebody believes, then they should be able to say it. Absolutely right. But somebody's perception does not define who you are. Somebody's opinion is just that.
Yeah.
Somebody's opinion. And we talked about this in the earlier podcast about, you know, taking the right advice and listening to the right people and the right things that they say. So if you're mindful of the things that you need to work on as far as your personal growth goes, and somebody's giving you advice to help change that, then by all means take it, soak it up like a sponge, reflect on it, do what you got to do. But people can give you advice and you do nothing with it because it does not personally pertain to you. It's just their opinion.
Yeah, and I also think that it depends on intent. You know, like if you believe that someone had a bad intention for the thing that they're telling you, then the perception is not. I think it's not even at that point about what they said. It's about you believe that they said it to try to do something to you, and our bodies, when it comes to processing stress, from an evolutionary standpoint, we process stress like danger because that's what our ancestors did. So when you have a chemical reaction in your body and your heart rate starts rising and stuff like that, your body just processes it as stress. And so you may perceive words as actual danger and respond. So I don't even think half the time it's about what someone says. I think that it's how you perceive they're trying to say it, or what their goal is in saying it to you.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a comprehension thing. Like, and I want to touch on the statement you said earlier as well. I think it's a comprehension thing at the end of the day, and I think it stems from some type of insecurity. Whether you address something that you may think is quote unquote wrong or whatever the case may be, I think it's still dependent on that person to comprehend it in a way that you're coming off as. They're more than welcome to ask questions, get clarification if they need clarification, whatever. Then you have a dialogue, then you communicate, and then you're good to go. A lot of people don't do that. They jump straight to the defensive part more than being humble enough to receive said advice from whoever or comment, whatever. But you said something I like was that some people choose to ignore it. And we talked about this, the mirror thing. People know it's there and they don't do anything with it. They don't confront it. It may affect them less until the right person comes along. It makes it a bigger issue. You know what I'm saying? So like I said earlier, it's hard to be around people who aren't secure with themselves because sometimes they'll bleed out on you just from their own stuff. But I also believe that people can master not having insecurities. What is an insecurity? Who made it up? Like for me, I'm the worst person to talk to about any of that stuff because I don't believe in that stuff. I don't believe we have insecurities. I believe we're all our own people. Somebody told you that you didn't look a certain way, and then you believe that. That's on you. You choosing to believe that. If you believe it, that's on you. That's like me telling you a lie. And then if you believe it's, or me telling you the truth, and then you think it's a lie, that's on you. Because you think it's a lie, but I'm telling the truth. So I think it's people got to work on being, and this is just not geared towards anybody at all. This is just in general.
Just say my name.
This guy, I think people got to be open. I think people got to be humble enough to receive the seeds that are given from people, whether they're wanted or not, or whether there's just opinion, like Shalisha says. I think it's a matter of getting out of that mindset though, because then you shut off potential things that could not only elevate your mind, but also elevate everything around you as well. For me, I didn't have that. My mom was playing devil's advocate. She was playing both sides, but for me, learning these things that I'm learning now, I wish somebody would have dropped those seeds to me. So for me, it's not really that I feel like I have a duty to do so, but for the people around me that I care about, I'm gonna say something, whether it sticks or not, or whether you tell me to F off or whatever the case may be, it's still gonna stick in your mind no matter what, because of how much people have respect for me and how much they care about the person that I am. And they know I'm a good person, but they just may not want to hear it right there and then, because it's like, oh, you trying to tell me I ain't this, I ain't that. It's never that with me, but maybe somebody else, he might be trying to put you down. But for me, it's just about, hey, you going into new situations, you need to be prepared. You can't just walk in, like I said, you can't just walk into a, hold on, brother, hold on. Brother. You can't just walk into a room full of people and not be prepared for what you're trying to get. Go ahead, ask your question.
What if the seeds that were dropped for you don't pertain to that particular person? Because yes, you're right about, getting that information and all these seeds dropping, you got to water them, let them grow, all that good stuff. But everybody's seeds are different. And I feel like with certain things, you can't judge something based off a one-time encounter. And I feel like the seeds that were dropped for you may not be the seeds that are meant for somebody else.
But here's the thing about that. We talked about this in early episodes with you as well about the car thing. You looking for other cars that are your car. You feel me? So if we're on a similar journey, I'd say, and we have similar goals and we're going through similar things, they do pertain to you, but not you personally, but that person may not be ready to hear that or ready to elevate. They're more comfortable being where they're at because that's what works for them. So it's not really a matter of, I think you need to hear this. It's more of like, here, try this and see what happens.
Right. And
it's not, but we're not talking about first encounters though.
I'm just going based off of the initial example Now you had given about your two friends earlier. I'm just going based off of that. From what I know of the situation, I just feel it was a one-time
We're not
deal,
talking about
and
feelings.
this was opinion based off of a one-time encounter.
Principles and
But
facts.
it's like, again, how do you know if you don't really know?
Well, let me ask you guys this.
Then okay, to that little question, then that's their fault for not addressing it in a manner that helps that person gain clarification.
But what if they did try
That's
to
it. That's it. Go ahead, Fitz.
Okay, that's it.
Let me ask this because it kind of ties into this.
That's it.
You'll get your chance because
No,
it
it's
ties
okay.
into this. All right. So
Oh, hyped
I'm
up
gonna
over
push
there,
back
bro.
on something. I'm gonna push back on something Ty said earlier about the dropping the seeds. And I would say 80 to 90% of what we do with our life is on the subconscious level, stuff that we're not even really aware of. And so if we look at those as seeds, like the words people say, the things people do to us, the traumas we may not be aware of, those are all in our subconscious mind. And those are seeds that have been planted. But just because those seeds are there, that doesn't mean that they're good for the current environment that you're currently trying to nurture. So let's say that there is somebody and they have their own seeds planted and they've done a lot of reflecting and they have a grasp on what it is that they want in their life. And somebody comes along like seeds. Here's some seeds. And they're like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. I got the seeds that I want. I went to the store. I got the seeds. I got my little garden. I know everything that I want to plant right now. I want to see these grow before I plant anything else because I'm trying to manage what I have now. And then you trying to give somebody that advice, give them those seeds. It's like, how do you know the seeds that you're trying to give somebody or the advice that you're trying to give somebody is going to nurture the environment that they want for themselves?
Interesting question. I'd probably have to say it's interesting.
I agree with you. You don't know what somebody already has planted.
Because there's millions of seeds.
To an extent, but I feel like a lot of people that's a good question because and I'm going to counter that because I feel like if they're not willing to accept other seeds from other people, then they can't go around and give their seeds out to other people. Because you can't just shut off one person and then you try to do the same thing that you just did. That person just did to you. Now the seeds, obviously it depends on the person to nurture them. If they don't nurture them, then that's on them. But if I drop a seed for you and I'm there for you and I help you maintain it, it's gonna grow.
I think I see both sides of it.
What if they don't need that seed?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is like if this person, they know what it is that they want and they trust themselves enough to gauge like, I know what seeds belong here right now. And you know what, even if somebody was going to offer me a seed that could help me, I'm okay with losing out because I know what's right for me in this moment. You know, like I know enough is enough and I'm juggling as much as I want to juggle and I'm comfortable juggling. And this is where I'm going to just let my seeds grow. Like in nature, it's like if you plant certain seeds next to certain things, they may grow. But other times, if you plant certain vegetables next to certain fruits or whatever, they won't grow just because their root systems, they're not really compatible. So when we're talking about seeds, it's like oftentimes you don't even know what's planted until it sprouts sometimes. And so some people just need time for those seeds that they have planted to sprout before they can take on any other seeds. But in other cases, they may be willing to take on a seed, but that's where communication and relationship building comes in at, is because, you know, if this person is coming to me about this, then it's the real deal because they know my journey. They respect my journey. They know what I'm going through. So they know I'm not accepting any seeds. So if they bring me something, then I know it's the real deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that this is it. So I think that there has to be a certain level of respect and communication between people in order to accept those seeds when you're talking about people like us that are operating on a high level and that are really trying to nurture a certain environment for ourselves, our family, and our future.
Right.
Well, let's go ahead, Shalisha.
Oh, I
Go
was
ahead.
just gonna say.
You got it.
Okay, I was just gonna say that again, just to go back to the seed you may be trying to give somebody, they don't necessarily need. Not saying they're not receptive to getting that seed, but it just may not be the seed that they need. Not that, oh, it's going to conflict, it's not the right time or right environment. They just may not need the seed. And if they're telling you they don't need the seed, it's not a lack of appreciation because they're not appreciative of the knowledge that you're giving or things that you went through that may pertain to them. It's just that they just don't need the seed. And I feel like that's okay if you're trying to give somebody advice and they're respectfully telling you, I appreciate your advice, but the seed is not needed over here. It doesn't need to be planted. It doesn't need to be grown. It's good. And you're just not being receptive to them telling you that because you're like, no, you need the seed, you need the seed, you need the seed. Some people are aware of what they need and what they need to focus on and the growth that they need that needs to be done. Some people are very aware of that. So also, if somebody's telling you they don't need the seed, it's not a disrespect. It's just they don't need the seed. So at what point do you stop trying to push that seed that they're telling you that they don't need?
You're not
insecurity
but
plays,
you're not even, that's the thing. This is getting too personal now. This is more, y'all are looking from a personal perspective. I'm not getting personal. I'm not saying that you don't have your stuff already planted. I'm not saying you haven't watched your stuff grown. I'm not saying you even need the seed. It's more of saying, here, take this. Whatever you do with it is whatever you do with it. Now, that seed could be the backbone because one of your seeds might break. And that could replace the one that you had and be 10 times stronger than what you had before. I'm not saying y'all are looking from a personal thing. I'm saying just in general, with no intention of being like, here, this is what you need to do. This is how it's going to happen, blah, 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 blah. It's more of like, hey, here you go. Whether you want it or not, it's more of like, here, take it. It's not about trying to interfere with what you got going on, but down the journey, you have the extra seed, and you'll get it when you'll get it.
So
I still don't see a point in taking a seed that's not needed.
I was speaking more so
Because we're not
general.
saying we're not saying it's needed. You're saying that you're telling this person you don't need it and all these things. If I'm giving it to you, I'm just giving it to you. Whether you could throw it away if you want to, or you could just put it on the table and let it sit there forever, and then use it one day. It's not about telling somebody this is what you need to do. It's more of like, I'm just throwing it to you. Here you go.
So do you think it would be better if you offered somebody a piece of advice? And I guess, speaking from a place of insecurity, do you think if you offer somebody advice and they don't take it, that they're insecure? Or could it be that they're so secure in what they want that they can readily identify what is for them and is not for them?
Do I think they're insecure if they don't take it?
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, like I said, it's up to you whether you take it or not. I can drop it and that's it. That's my job. That's it. Whether you take it or not, or whether you think that you don't need it, or whether you're secure, that's fine. I mean, that's cool. But in my, not only my experience, but experiences I've seen around people, successful people, regular people, everything in general, I think that's the one thing people miss out on, because they feel like, nah, I don't need that. I'm good over here. There, my stuff over here looking the greatest and all these things, without thinking. And we talked about this in other podcasts too, about race and how if we turn ourselves off to people like that, we're going to miss out on opportunities. So that's how I'm addressing the seed thing. It's not about insecurity. It's not about, thinking, oh, well, if they don't take it, then they're insecure. You take it. I really don't personally, I don't care. Like, I know you're gonna hear what I have to say. Obviously, it's gonna sit with you, whether you like it or not. It's gonna sit with you, and then you'll probably experience it down the road, and then be like, "Oh, that's what it was for." But I mean, you take it. I don't think that deep into it. I don't really get that personal with it either. I don't. It is what it is. A lot of people just. Sometimes people aren't ready. Sometimes they're ready. Sometimes they don't think they need it. Sometimes they do need it, and they don't know that they may need it. But you can hold on to that seed for, emergencies or something. You ain't gotta like get out of my face type of mentality. So this goes for anybody though. I'm not just talking about personal people. I used to be that way too, though. I used to be like, I don't need your advice. I got this. Like, get out of my face. Like, I know what I'm doing. And that hurt me in a lot of situations. And that hurts a lot of people. Not just me, hurts a lot of people. And I feel like if you don't switch out of that mindset, then it's going to handicap you. And then you're going to blame everything else but yourself, because you're the one who turned off to everything like that. Y'all watch E.T., and I've watched E.T. I've seen all his stuff. And he was kind of similar. Like, he was so stuck on that identity of eating out of trash cans and being homeless and all these things and getting these degrees and stuff. And he was getting to it. But at some point, he had to understand that he's going to meet some people that drop gems that he already may know about. You feel me? Or maybe going through and he may be like, man, I already know that. But it's about the different perspective. A different perspective can shoot you to the stars. Just like if I give you a seed, my seeds may hold up a little bit stronger than yours and give you a stronger foundation. Not to say your foundation is weak, but it's not going to hurt you. It can only elevate you, in my opinion. If I'm giving seeds, they can only elevate, not hurt. It only hurts you if you throw it away or don't nurture it the proper way.
So do you guys, and we're getting close on time, do you guys have anything else to say to try to help somebody that maybe, experiencing an insecurity or anything like that on the topic?
Yes, my final piece of advice is just going to be just know yourself, know where you're trying to get to, and just understand that everybody has a mind of their own. And, just let it roll off, just don't keep an open mind, but don't let someone just come in and tear up your own perceptions of yourself and drag you down their path and turn you into the version of yourself that they want. Just stay true to you.
I would say, as far as the insecurities thing goes, everybody has insecurities. It's okay.
They don't.
You're not defined by your insecurities. Your insecurities don't define you. Keep doing what you got to do to grow and blossom, because life is a journey to be lived, not a puzzle to be solved.
Not everybody has an insecurity.
Yeah, I would.
I can do a lie detector test right now and it'll come back positive, because that insecurity stuff do not work with me.
That's
Somebody could tell me I'm ugly.
I
my
was
hair
just
ugly.
giving my piece of advice.
But you can't say everybody though. You can't say everybody.
Okay, well, 90% of America.
Oh, nope. That's too much. You can't group me into that.
Anyway, Robert, what is your piece of advice?
Can't say that.
What I wasn't
say everybody.
It wasn't applying to you.
You can say like some.
Okay.
Some.
All right.
You said everybody.
Okay.
I take offense to that.
Okay.
Does it seem like I have insecurities?
That's up to you for you to find out.
No, I don't think I do. I'm saying from the outside looking in, because from the inside looking out.
Why you worry about what everybody else thinks though? It don't matter. As long as you think that you good, then you good.
No, I'm just considering what Shalisha's saying, and if she thinks it's everybody, surely there must be some basis. Like maybe if she thinks it's everybody, then even the people
Maybe the
immediately around
terminology
her,
was
she must
used
see
wrong.
she must see them.
Most people
Hey.
or some people have insecurities. It's okay to have insecurities. Keep
As
growing.
Okay.
the people
And
that Shalisha
it's-
has experienced. Let's
it's
make sure we're
alright.
using the right language. People you have experience, because you don't know everybody in the world.
And that's
that you
why I
have
changed it to some
experience.
people. Some people.
That's still a lot though.
I didn't feel like it was that deep.
The
but
people you have experienced. But that
Okay.
Shalisha says it's all opinion based. So if Shalisha thinks you have an insecurity, it's her opinion.
I didn't say Tatiana had an insecurity.
We
Well,
didn't
no,
say that. You're not listening.
No,
Use
my
your ears and
question
not your
was
head.
because my question was because Shalisha said everybody,
Right.
and I
that's
know
why changed
Shalisha
it
knows
to
me.
some people.
For you to
We
be
heard you the
so
first
confident
time. Let her talk.
saying- For you to be so confident to say everybody, but you know me personally, what do you see me being insecure? Because I didn't think I was, and
No,
I don't know.
I don't
what
think you're
you-
insecure.
Okay, no, I didn't.
I think you're
I
very
didn't- yeah.
confident in who you are in yourself, actually, and I love that about you.
Oh, well, thank
Hmm.
you.
You're welcome.
Oh, and I'm not trying to attack nobody. I just wanted clarification because I mean, I
No,
do
that's
kind of.
why
I kind of was
I
leaning
didn't
more.
feel attacked. That's why I
No.
just changed it to some people.
Freaking
I
out,
felt
bro.
changing it to from everybody to some
No,
people.
yeah.
It should have just the line, not you, but the line should have just been drawn there. But
No, and I'm not. No
yeah, but
one's
not you.
freaking
Yeah.
out.
My comments weren't directed towards you at all.
No, I didn't. It's not. I didn't take anything personally. It's because you said everybody.
Yeah,
Everybody
and I
means
get
everybody. Like
right, and I get the
100%.
misconstrued. That's why I changed it to some people. So
Hmm.
that was again, like I said, bad word choice. Some people.
We know.
So I'll just read a
Apology.
definition of
All right.
insecure. So
you,
insecure
Shalisha.
just means not firmly fixed, liable to give way or break. So the way I take the definition of insecure is that you're not 100% confident in every single thing that you do, or there's room where you feel like there's something that, like, I don't know everything, or I'm not 100%, there's room for weakness or whatever. Like there's still room to grow. So that's what, like, if there's a bridge, I don't look at the bridge as 100% safe. I look at, like, there's some part of the bridge that's insecure. And so I do think that everybody has insecurities, but I think that because I think, well, this is what psychology shows, is that 80 to 90% of what we do and what we think is on a subconscious level. So most of how we live our life is not even aware to us. So for me to say that I don't have any insecurities, I would have to know what was in my subconscious mind. But because it's my subconscious, I don't know what's there. So oftentimes our insecurities, they don't manifest until something in our subconscious is brought to our consciousness. And that's why when we give advice, a person that may not be ready to hear it or wanting to hear it, they could act defensively, is because that may have been in their subconscious mind and being suppressed. And now all of a sudden it's brought to the conscious mind and you haven't really dealt with it.
Something interesting too is here on this list of definitions, there's actually one that speaks directly to of a person, and it says insecure adjective of a person, not confident or assured, uncertain and anxious. And then they give an example: a rather gauche, insecure young man, a top model who is notoriously insecure about her looks. So in regards to a person, it's not confident or assured, uncertain and anxious. So, I guess, I don't think everybody's uncertain and anxious.
I'm not saying they are. I'm saying, so on a subconscious level, I'm sure if you're trying something new, there's some level of uncertainty that this may not work or things may not go the way that I want. Not saying everyone is insecure at all times. I just think on a basic human level, it's normal for people to have insecurities based on this definition. It'd be interesting if somebody went on Google Scholar and did like some research on insecurities, because I think the way that it's used is not the way that it comes off. I think the way that it's used is like different than how it's actually studied in psychology.
Right.
Does anyone else have anything else to add?
I'd have to say the example of people that aren't insecure are Buddhists, like monks. They don't have any insecurities. I feel like you say it's a subconscious thing, but I feel like if you can master, unlearn, relearn, and master yourself, then the insecurities don't come in. I feel like I don't have any insecurities because I think of more. I value myself too much to conform to societal stuff. I think a lot of the insecurities come from societal things. Outside of that, I've never been told I was ugly by my mom, my grandma, I was a piece of crap. Like I never been told those negative things. So for me, I've been told negative things about other people, but I still know who I am at the end of the day. So it really don't. What they say just barely even scratches the surface. So as Shalisha would say, it's just an opinion. So, but if you let it in, then you got insecurities.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I said, because you said it perfectly earlier. You said, if you say something to somebody, even if they don't acknowledge it, it's still going to sit with them on a certain level. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm talking about is like subconsciously, most of the insecurities we have are on a subconscious level. So it's normal for people to think that they don't have insecurities. I'm just saying on a subconscious level, if somebody says something to you, it's still processing in your brain. And you may not even be aware of it because it's subconscious. Do some research on subconscious. This is just how the brain works.
No, I'm not saying you're not wrong, but for me, it don't sit with me.
Not on the conscious level, subconscious.
Not even subconscious.
But how do you know it's on your subconscious level if it's subconscious?
Because it doesn't even get to me.
But that's why it's subconscious.
But there's levels to me. Even if it were to quote unquote sit on the outside for a long time, it's never gonna get in. So you can tell me something. You could tell me something. You could give me some advice or tell me something about myself, and I'm going to be like, okay, that's a good perspective, and I may look at what you said, but it's not. I'm not gonna hold on to it. It's gonna stay right there in that moment, and then I'm moving forward.
Yeah, I would just encourage you to look at some just look at some research on subconscious.
Let me be great. I'm God, bro.
No, I want you to be great. I want you to be great. I would just encourage people to look at some research on the subconscious mind because it really is amazing. Like a lot of the research that's been done on subconscious mind, they haven't even tapped the surface of it yet. And it's crazy, like with manifesting and what you tell yourself, it really can change your life. And that's what's holding a lot of people back, I feel like, is they don't realize how powerful the subconscious mind is. So if you repeat a goal to yourself over and over and over again, you do that so that your subconscious mind can work on it when you're not even thinking about it. And that's your thoughts and your goals and stuff will work towards that. So I would just highly encourage, look at some research on the subconscious mind. But from the what's you're saying?
Oh, getting out the mud, show us some love.
From the bottom.
Okay, from the bottom podcast.
Gang.
Peace. Like, share, subscribe.
Text FITZMINDSET at 22828.
Yo, we gotta get a system down.
Tripping, bro.
Your free guide.
Gotta plug it in throughout the podcast.
Appreciate it.